Hey Tom, how's it going? Okay, so we'll get this turnaround done. I read all your notes and all good there. Don't thank me for the 3 seconds. That's all on you. To be fair. But yeah, we'll get started here at Heartland. Very good lap. And honestly, I wouldn't even say that it's turn three that we're still leaving a bit on the table. I think we did it quite well. Of course we can tweak. We can always tweak. There's no limit to improvements we can make. But in saying that, I wouldn't be really too critical of anywhere in particular. Mainly turn 10, I think, is where we leave a lot of time on the table with the type of car that we're in. And so we'll focus mostly on that, but everywhere else quite good. But okay, rolling along. And then we'll talk about Ozarks as well. Super crazy place. So we'll talk about that. So outstanding line. I mean, outstanding line. The fact that we get the car out here is really good. And we do a really nice job. We get the car basically traveling in this direction, which is what I asked for and what I want to see. So unbelievable there. The one thing I will say is I really want to be kind of just making sure we get right to this apex, right where this 370 or whatever it is getting, and just getting in there nicely enough that from there we can just be clean on the power through to 2. So we just miss it a bit, but then we are flat out from there on. The thing is, again, we probably, if I'm just going to back this up a sec, we're probably giving up a little bit too much speed here by just kind of missing. It is a nice curb to run on. So just missing this apex a touch, but also maybe holding it a bit too tight to the right side, because turn 2 is pretty easy for us to be flat. And I say that in the sense that we don't use all the road. So, we got to where we wanted to goal-wise on the lap time. And yes, now we can go further from there. But what I really want you to focus on is just kind of looking down the road, looking ahead. Because what that's going to allow us to do is there's a few spots where we get into the apex, we get it woed up and get it into the corner well, but we're not, let's say, gracefully using all the road. And with that, it's usually when we're just not kind of looking down the road enough. So I'd like to be kind of from here, we're going to hit the apex or thereabouts. So now we're kind of looking way up over to this point as to when we're kind of turning through 2. And then our next focus point will really be the exit of 2. So that's where we're kind of trying to shift our focus before we're even into the turn 2. So what I would like to do is really just kind of look down the road. And what that's going to allow is we will carry a little bit more speed through 1 here, maybe not, not woe the car up quite so much, because we're on power, boom, at the right point. 100%, we're on power at the right point. And then we're flat out through 2. The thing is, we're not really having to use all the road out of 2. So that would just be a little thing that we're leaving on the table. And really, I'm okay with the way that we do 3. We do double apex it, we do diamond it, we do carry our speed way deep in there, and get on the power about the mid corner of it. Like, yeah, okay, we do a little blip of the throttle on the way in kind of thing. But really, I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with the line. I'm happy with the way the car rotates for us. I'm happy with the speed that we come out. Look how much we caught this car in front of us. I'm really impressed with turn 3, and I'm really happy with turn 3. Yeah, turn 4 is one that tends to catch people out, I think, just with the flow of the track, where we all think that it's a little bit sharper, a little bit more acute than it really is. It's a pretty straightforward corner where we can run the car out to the outside. But again, not to the point where we're fighting to keep it on the road, because obviously we have that braking zone for 5 coming up right away. but just where, you know, we can let the car out a little bit easier. We're not having to set up the exit so much. So we can come around, clip, and maybe, you know, here realistically, if we were using the same throttle, the same amount of brake, same turn in and everything, if we were really fighting and the exit was like, let's say the exit curb was like this along here, we could still keep it on the road. So what that tells me is that there's another car width here of, you know, track that we can really be using. Now I want to be not on the curb, but I want to be just fighting the car enough so that when it exits, it's exiting right out to this white line. You know, so I want our left side tires on the white line. And then same again, like, I mean, turn 5 is quite good, but we can probably just get in a touch sooner, you know, apex just a touch sooner, which is going to exit us out a touch sooner, but it'll have us use all the road. So that's kind of what I would say, but it's a small thing. I mean, in all fairness, doing this perfect versus how we're doing it now, maybe there's half a tenth, so it's minor. This is where looking ahead is going to help us. So into the hairpin of 6, you know, okay, yes. Here's where we're looking. We've got, let's say, braking point, turn-in point, apex point, and exit point, okay? So these are our 4 visual markers, if you will. At this point, now that we know we're coming up to the braking point, we're already kind of, let's say one eye is on the turn-in point, but we're already kind of bringing our vision 2 steps ahead to our apex. So we're looking at the apex. So we know, okay, we're going to brake here. Okay, as we're in the braking zone, we're starting to peer over. Okay, that's where I'm going. And then as we start to turn in, we're already focused on the exit. So that's how we're kind of 2 steps ahead of the car, 2 visual points ahead of the car. And that allows us to really just scribe those lines a little bit cleaner so we know exactly how much we can really slow down the car, when we can really get on the power, and how we can allow, let's say, release the car out of the corner and allow the car to kind of jump up in acceleration, especially in a low horsepower car. And this is why, like, everyone who jumps into a really high horsepower car, it's really tough to figure out all the nuances of being quick, because, you know, there's so much you can really cover up in a high horsepower car or a quick car. And it's very much the same with like a downforce car, like the kids that just jump into a downforce formula car. You know, once you don't have downforce, you lose all that sort of mechanical capabilities that you would learn and, you know, in all the other forms of racing. So, you know, being in a low horsepower car is good. Mistakes are penalized greatly more, but it really teaches us how to release the car and how to, you know, I call it unbinding. So releasing the bind on the car and allowing it to kind of get up on its tiptoes and accelerate. And that's kind of what we want to do for sure through 6, through any of these hairpins. We come in, we're at the apex, that's great, but realistically, we're nowhere near the exit. So again, it's like one of those things, we're so focused on stopping the car to get into the apex, we're forgetting about the speed that we can kind of carry or accelerate out to the exit. And that's part and parcel to, you know, we've been working on delaying on throttle or on throttle, and that's what we're doing, which is great, and it's helping us with the timeline. But now we can bring it where we can still attack into the corner a bit more. So maybe we either push our braking a little bit deeper, or we're just braking a little bit lighter. So we're carrying our speed deeper into the corner so that we're still not getting on power before apex. But when we do get on power, we're traveling fast enough that it's bringing us to the outside of the track. So looking ahead and just working on carrying our speed deep into that corner, that's going to help us really start to allow our trajectory to take us to the outside of the track. Flat through here, perfect. And then we do a good job through 8 and 9. I'm very happy with our approach through 8 and 9. I would say with this car, we can release out of 9 a little bit nicer. So do a great job. We're on power. Don't be afraid to you know, take a little, or well, take as much of this curb as you can, just kind of cutting down the acuteness of it. And then just allow the car out here a little bit more. Allow the car to not much, but just like from kind of the line that we're sort of, I'm gonna actually just move it ahead here. From the line that we're sort of holding right now, and then it comes out, I would say if we just allow it just a touch more to be a little bit more free to the outside here, kind of consistently, then it'll just allow it to pick up that extra mile per hour or so. Now here, I said I wanted to focus on turn 10. Turn 10 is a big thing. So again, I want us to really look at this set of corners. So we're going 10, 11, 12. So I want us to really analyze it. So how we're doing right now is we really stop the, I'm going to use red. We really roll up the car and get it tight through 10. So we're kind of sticking on the, this, you can't tell with this, but we're sticking on the very bottom portion of the track. So we're kind of over here, right? We're staying on the low portion of the track. But then that kind of sets us up for 11, but then we stay on, you know, the right side of 11, and then we get a nice tight line through 12. What that means is that out of 11 or 10, 11, 12, we're basically sacrificing 10 and 11, the two faster corners, and we're setting up for 12. So we're sacrificing 2 of the 3 corners. What I want to be doing is, let me clear all this. What I want to be doing is really attacking through 10, carrying our speed way deep into 10. So we're actually, you know, coming through 10 and kind of running all the way to the outside. So coming in here, clipping, and then running way out to the outside, and then kind of sacrificing 11 and setting up for 12. So we attack turn 10, we sacrifice 11 a little bit, we have to compromise at 11, and then we have a great turn 12. So we're maximizing the speed through the fast corner, and then really we're maximizing our positioning in the slow corner. So as we come through here, I really want to be carrying our speed in hot, 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 you know, kind of breaking through the apex here. This is a corner where it doesn't matter when we get on power. So we really want to just maximize our entry. We don't want to be all out of sorts, but really what we want is to be rolling through here quick, you know, let me show it like this. Rolling through here quick, probably getting on power way late, like at this point, which is even still, maybe even later, like maybe out here, but we're kind of using most of the road, like maybe leave a car width, including the curb, but like, so let's say half a car width to the curb is where I'd like to be running out to. And then we kind of tuck it back as much as we can just to set up for 11 a little bit better. But all of this will be massive time gain from the breaking point all the way over to 11. We're gaining time. Okay. Because we're traveling faster. So I want to be really running kind of out to here. And then, yeah, we'll suck it back a bit and then, you know, keep it nice and tidy through 11 so that we get a good approach through 12. So this is very good. This is the line and this is the line. So everything from here is great. It's just 10. I'd like to really attack turn 10 a lot more, and there's a lot of time to be had there. Then outstanding through 13. outstanding through 14. Don't be afraid to, you know, again, it's one of those things, we don't have to late apex quite so much just because we're kind of getting back to power and we can allow the car out and we can kind of dip 2 wheels over the white line on the outside. And it feels like we're driving way out there, but what we're doing is opening our steering to allow the car to pick up speed and accelerate coming out. Okay, so don't worry about late apexing just quite so much. It's very good, but you know, we can maybe roll through there a little bit cleaner without so much cutback. But very good job, outstanding lap. I'm so impressed that we already found those 3 seconds. So now everything is gravy from here. With regard to Ozark, so the biggest thing I would say, I wouldn't worry too much about your driving. Approach it, you know, Heartland has tricky sets of corners. And yes, of course, Ozark is a much more complicated track and it has way more corners. But really the approach should be the same, you know, as long as we're getting on power at the apex, not before the apex, we're carrying our speed in. That's going to really be where all the time is found and how we attack the racetrack. I would have a look at it because there is so many corners and it is a little bit convoluted. So I would, you know, research videos as much as possible just to get your brain wrapped around it, like the flow of the track and everything. Look at it on paper for sure, and just diagnose like where you will compromise entries and exits and where you want to maximize your entries or exits, you know, so based on sort of the corner flow and things like that, much like how we've talked about with Heartland. So I'd say those are the big things, but at the same time, don't overcomplicate it. Go out there and have some fun. When you're enjoying it, I mean, that's the key. But again, the main focus is to be just on carrying our speed deep into the apex or deep into the corner. If we can do that and we're on power, you know, the soonest we can get on power is the apex, then we're doing it right. You know, we're approaching it well. So good luck, my man. Thank you for the video. Thank you for, you know, for choosing me again and choosing us again. Let me know of any questions, but it's always a pleasure. I'm so happy we found some significant time, and I look forward to finding the next bit, although I don't know how much more is going to be left. So don't get too hard on me over here, but no, really, really great job. All right. And we'll speak soon. Let me know any questions you have.